The war against Iran has moved to the next stage, and we will bring you the story of how Israel trapped a senior Iranian official and the Mossad's brilliant operation to take down an Iranian-backed terror cell that operated in southern Syria. And meanwhile, the IDF Chief of Staff has revealed that Hamas planned to invade Israel from both Gaza and from Lebanon during the Iranian attack. So what is happening to the Hamas organization and what is its situation on the ground in the Gaza Strip? We'll have all the details, including about the hostages, so get ready. Welcome to Boots on the Ground. We bring you the whole truth about what's happening in Israel in the last week. And before we begin, I want to invite you to make some noise in the comments section so we can see where you're coming from and how do you stand in support of Israel. After more than a year and a half of fighting in the Gaza Strip, the Chief of Staff Yair assessed in a cabinet meeting this week that Hamas is dead. In addition, the Chief of Staff claimed that today the IDF controls about 75% of the Gaza Strip's territory, and he also presented data showing that during the war, Hamas's military capabilities were hit very hard. For their part, Hamas published a statement after the tweet by the United States President Donald Trump stating that Israel had agreed in principle to a 60-day ceasefire framework, saying it is holding national consultations and discussing the proposals that were passed to us. As my friends from the great state of Alabama might say, bless their hearts. I hope, for the sake of the long-suffering people of both Gaza and Israel, that Hamas doesn't waste too much more time in discussions and just accepts the very generous offer being made to them that will let everyone get on their lives. Speaking of which, after the president of Iran put into effect the law that constitutes a decisive step in severing the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran from the IAEA, the German Foreign Ministry responded with an unusual statement. We'll have the details about that as well, but it's only one of many problems that Iran has right now. And last Saturday, the Iranian authorities opened their airspace to foreign airliners, but flights remain cancelled in many parts of the country. And meanwhile, Switzerland says that they suspect Iranian agents have been murdering diplomats, adding another headache for the regime in Tehran. So guys, we have a lot to talk about today, so let's dive into the details. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your Boots on the Ground Weekend Edition report on what's happening in Israel on day 627 of the war against Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, and the Shia militias in Iraq, together with all the other armed groups in this region taking their orders from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, which is the head of the axis of evil, or what's left of it, in this region. And today, I'm going to bring you the whole truth about the IDF's progress on the various fronts. But a moment before we start, we need you to stand with Israel. So guys, help us win the war for sharing the truth by clicking the like and also sharing this video, and most importantly, hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you stay tuned to the truth and never miss another episode of Boots on the Ground. Now, before we start with the news, I also want to remind you that right now, families across Israel are struggling. Children are going to bed hungry. Holocaust survivors are living alone with empty fridges and no one to help. This is real. This is urgent, and you can make a difference. Meir Panim is on the ground feeding the hungry, caring for the forgotten, and restoring dignity to those who need it most. But they cannot do it alone. We need your help. Every gift means a hot meal, a kind smile, and hope where it's needed most. So guys, if you want to support Israel during this time, and Israel needs your support, go to bless-israel.org. That's bless-israel.org. Together, we can bring comfort. Together, we can feed a nation with love. So guys, visit bless-israel.org now. Now, it's time to start with the news, because overnight between Tuesday and Wednesday, IDF forces completed an operation to arrest a terror cell activated by Iran in the el-Luks and Ain el-Basali areas of southern Syria. Overnight between Tuesday and Wednesday, IDF forces completed an operation to arrest a terror cell activated by Iran in the el-Luks and Ain el-Basali areas of southern Syria. And based on intelligence that is gathered in recent weeks, brigade forces carried out a focused nighttime mission and arrested several terrorists. 3 Syrians south of Quneitra were detained in the operation, and forces also located weapons in the area where the terrorists were arrested, including several firearms and grenades. This terror cell is believed to have been sponsored by Iran and is part of an Iranian attempt to build a network to threaten Israel from Syria. For their part, Syrian state television reported on Wednesday morning that a special IDF force raided the El Basali farm south of Quneitra at 2 a.m. and arrested 3 Syrian civilians, Amer el-Ahmed, his brother Malik el-Ahmed, and Salem el-Ahmed. The Israeli force returned to Israel without making contact with any Syrian police or border guards. And according to Syrian television, the fate of the detainees and the motives for the operation are still unknown. But it's that what they always say when they just don't know or don't want to admit the embarrassing truth. But let's just take a moment and appreciate how crazy it is that Israel managed to send a team deep inside enemy territory and grab some Iranian agents who might or might not have been known to the Syrian authorities themselves. So guys, I'm sure that the El-Julani regime knows who these guys were now, if they didn't know before, and I'm also sure that they're not sorry that Israel came and sorted this out. I also wouldn't be surprised if they're thinking about making a movie about this in Hollywood just now. And maybe I'll get a part in that movie, or maybe not, or I should just stick to, boots on the ground. Guys, let me know in the comment what you think. Do you think that they should make a movie about this operation in Syria? In any case, here at TBN Israel, we will continue to spread the truth, and as always, we invite you to share and follow us. And most importantly, do not forget to spread the truth and help us by hitting that subscribe button, leaving a comment, leaving a like, and sharing this video with somebody who wants to know what's happening in Israel. And speaking of the comment section, some of you have said that you've noticed that I'm making more jokes during these videos than I used to. Sharp eye, guys, but I am simply following the example of the Israeli Mossad, which is conducting psychological warfare against Iran using humor on its X page in Persian. This has included mocking an attempt to hide the identity of the new chief of staff and responding to Iranian officials who follow on the social network, the Mossad Persian X page. On Wednesday, it published on its X page a humorous post mocking Iran's attempts to hide the identity of its new chief of staff in the format of an interactive quiz show. The post said, in part, that the Tasnim news agency announced that the Islamic Republic regime will not reveal the name of the new armed forces commander to protect him. Know that we know exactly what his name is, and we know him very well. Unfortunately, such basic information is hidden from the Iranian people, so please send us your guesses regarding his name. Later, an Iranian user named Bakhnam Julipor responded to the Mossad's post, detailing the name of the new Iranian chief of staff, Ali Abdullahi Alibadi. The Mossad, for its part, shared the response and congratulated Julipor on winning the prize, saying the lucky winner who managed to reveal the anonymous name is Mr. Bakhnam, so please contact us to receive your prize. I don't know what the prize is, but I'd like to send Mr. Julipor a Boots on the Ground t-shirt. If you'd like one, you can find them at the TBN Israel webpage under the shop tab. So, now, I'm getting back to the Mossad quiz show. This is not the first time that the Mossad has trolled the Iranian regime through its Persian X page. As recalled, at the beginning of the operation, the Iranians boasted that they had struck a Mossad building in Israel. The Mossad responded with humorous posts saying, "Fortunately, no one was there. All our agents are in Iran now." A few days ago, the Mossad went even further and addressed the senior Iranian regime figures who are amongst the followers of the page, saying, "Hot news! We conducted a thorough review of the page followers and were not surprised to find that the distinguished gentlemen Fagapur, Musavi, and Arakshi are amongst our most loyal viewers." In the continuation of the post, the Mossad jabbed the Iranian officials based on the verb to follow and address the people of Iran, directly saying, of course, they use their secondary phones, and two of them even exploit private internet connections. As a token of appreciation, we are also following them. For your safety, it is necessary to remind and emphasize you dear residents inside Iran can continue to view our content, but please avoid following the page or responding to the published content. So we will continue to provide important news updates. This is according to the Israeli Mossad on X. It seems that alongside extensive military and intelligence operations, the Mossad understands that one of the effective ways to undermine the regime in Iran is simply to tease and make fun of them. These guys take themselves very seriously, and they seem to think that everybody else does as well. Once again, I invite you to leave a comment if you know some good jokes that we should make of our friends in Tehran. I'm talking about the IRGC people. In any case, here at TBN Israel, we will continue to spread the truth, share as much as possible, and hit that subscribe button, guys. Now, we shift our focus to the ongoing drama with Hamas in the Gaza Strip. And on Wednesday, Hamas issued its first official statement after the post by the United States President Donald Trump, which said that Israel has agreed to all the conditions for a 60-day ceasefire. And the terrorist organization stressed that it is examining new proposals received from the mediators and is holding consultations. Hamas did not directly address the outline of a deal, neither confirming nor rejecting it, but clarified that its objective is an end to the war, but of course, they want the war to be over on their terms, meaning they want the IDF to completely withdraw and leave them in power. We'll see if they continue to insist on this absurd maximalist position. Their statement on Wednesday included a self-serving declaration that mediators are making intensive efforts to bridge the gap between the two sides, reach a framework agreement, and begin a serious round of negotiations. We're acting with a high sense of responsibility and conducting national consultations to discuss the proposals that we receive from the mediators in order to reach an agreement that guarantees an end to the aggression, withdrawal, and urgent aid to our people in the Gaza Strip. For his part, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will fly to Washington on Sunday, and on Monday as well, he's expected to meet with President Donald Trump at the White House to discuss, among other things, the war in the Gaza Strip. And earlier on Wednesday, the Prime Minister said, amidst the contacts, that there will be no Hamas, that's over, we will free all our hostages. The two goals work together. We will complete them together. We will eradicate them to the core. There will be no Hamas. And shortly afterwards, Hamas sources told the Saudi newspaper Ashraq al-Awsat, we are exercising caution regarding the discussions on the new proposal in view of the traps that it contains. In their estimation, the clause referring to explicitly ending the war is still unclear. They said that Hamas leadership passed a proposal to the Palestinian factions for internal discussions, seeking to obtain a Palestinian consensus in support of any agreement that may be formed. So the Hamas sources added, the humanitarian protocol clause concerning the rehabilitation of hospitals, schools, and infrastructure remains vague and includes no commitment on Israel's part. The clause refers only to increasing the number of trucks delivering humanitarian aid to the Strip. Nevertheless, they estimated that after the discussions are completed, there will be a positive response to this proposal, with several amendments passed to the mediators. And according to them, an agreement could be reached within a week or two. And now, shifting our focus to the international front and to the associated diplomatic developments against the backdrop of growing tensions over international insight of Iran's nuclear program after the Israeli-American operation, the German Foreign Ministry today attacked Iran's intention to halt cooperation with the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and called on Tehran to cancel the decision, which it termed a catastrophic signal. The statement said, "We call on Tehran to immediately reverse the suspension of cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency." The unusual statement added that Germany warned that ending Iran's cooperation with the IAEA could be a signal with severe consequences. And in a related story, according to a political report, Britain and Germany will sign a mutual defense agreement on the 17th of July that defines any threat to one of the two as a threat to the other. The interesting part of the agreement stipulates that Germany will come under Britain's nuclear umbrella, a move promoted by Chancellor Friedrich Merz amid lack of confidence in the United States' assistance in an emergency. And earlier this week, Foreign Minister Gideon Saar toured with German Interior Minister Alexander Dobrindt at the missile strike site in Bat Yam in center Israel and said the international community must take concrete steps against Iran's nuclear program in view of the regime's attacks on the IAEA and its announcement that it will cease cooperation with it. This is the time for the E3, Britain, Germany, and France to activate the snapback mechanism, a concrete step at their disposal. German Interior Minister Dobrindt added in a separate statement of his own that Israel must be supported in the fight against terror. There is no justification for attacks on civilian population as happened here. However, whoever sees what the Iranians did to a civilian population should fear what they could do with a nuclear weapon. We stand 100% behind Israel's actions in recent days and the strike on the nuclear sites. The nuclear issue is not only a threat to Israel, but to all of Europe. Israel, Germany, and the United States will not accept a nuclear Iran. And on behalf of the all Israelis, I would like to thank German Interior Minister Dobrindt for this strong statement and the diplomatic stance that his government is taking in this situation. It's nice to see that there are still some people and some countries who are unwilling to go along with the blatant lies and deceit that the Ayatollah regime in Iran routinely employs as tools of diplomatic coercion and bullying. And speaking of diplomacy, since the Islamic Revolutionary Guard in 1979, the neutral Switzerland has served as a diplomatic back channel between the United States and the Ayatollah regime, representing United States interests to the Swiss embassy in Tehran. Despite their efforts to maintain neutral, Iran has long accused Switzerland of being Washington's collaborators. However, during the past 4 years, 3 Swiss citizens have died in Iran under mysterious circumstances, and according to a new investigation, these may have been assassinations carried out by the Revolutionary Guards. So guys, here at TBN Israel, we will keep a close eye on this story and bring you any new updates and details that come to light. And in the meantime, we are glad to see you in the chat, guys. So keep spreading the truth, share, and follow us. And most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to support us, you can also hit that donate button, also on YouTube. Guys, staying on the subject of Iran. Iran's Transportation Ministry announced on Wednesday that it extended the suspension of international and domestic flights in the north, south, and in the west of the country until tomorrow at noon. A statement by the ministry added that the airspace over central and western Iran has again been closed to international flights over Iran. In addition, Iran's Civil Aviation Organization announced today that only a limited number of airports in eastern Iran will continue to provide limited service to nearby provinces or neighboring countries. An Iranian chief of staff, Abdel El-Rahim Mousavi, also made an announcement on Wednesday, giving an interview to the Hezbollah-linked El Mayadin media portal, in which he said, amongst other things, that Israel lost its war against Iran, and there is much evidence of this. He added that for many years Israel has been trying to harm and dismantle the Islamic Republic, contrary to its claims that the strikes were intended to destroy nuclear weapons. He also claimed that Israel was forced to initiate the ceasefire because it needed to recover. Mousavi issued a warning that Israel must beware of making further mistakes or it will pay a heavy price, emphasizing that Iran and the Iranian people will continue to support the Palestinian people. And another man who has often been interviewed by many media outlets, particularly in the West, is Ibrahim Mudgahi, the head of the political science faculty at the Tehran University. This week, he gave an interview with a popular TV news show in Iran in which he said, "The available evidence indicates that Israel, with United States support, will renew its surprising and destructive military actions against Iran within at most 1 week. Israel and the United States see the ceasefire as means to reorganize and optimize their military capabilities." And furthermore, Mudgahi called on Iranian officials not to take the ceasefire seriously, adding, "Iranian officials will be the targets of such an attack." To take a brief comment on all of this, I think that Professor Mudgahi might be right about Israel and America getting ready to hit the Ayatollah regime once more. There certainly are some good reasons why they'd be considering such a move. However, it's also possible that Professor Mudgahi might just be doing what so many other so-called experts from all over the world do, as without actually having any specific information, they just like to make people think that they have something and then get their expert analysis of that situation. It is astonishing to me that no matter how many times these so-called experts get it wrong, they still get invited back to these news analysis shows and they never apologize or even acknowledge that they got it wrong the last time. They just keep right on talking nonsense again and again, and I believe that this is the case with this Iranian professor. In any case, I strongly advise everybody, especially our viewers in Iran, to stay tuned to Boots on the Ground, where we bring you the facts of what's happening in Israel, in the Middle East, so that you'll know how to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Now, it's my sad duty to conclude today's video by paying respects to our hero who sacrificed his life for the state of Israel. His name is Sergeant Yaniv Mikhailovich, 19 years of age, a tank crew member in the 82nd Battalion of the 7th Armored Brigade from Rehovot, an Israeli city, and he was killed in action over the last 24 hours in Gaza. In the same incident where he lost his life, 2 of his comrades were seriously wounded, and another IDF soldier was also seriously wounded in a separate incident on Wednesday. So guys, please join us in praying for these soldiers and their families. Please pray for Israel's leaders, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his government, for the leaders of the United States of America, President Trump and his government. Pray for the IDF soldiers. Pray for the leaders of Europe, for the leaders of this region. Pray for the hostages that are still being held in Gaza. Pray for the Iranian people that need your prayers now more than ever. Pray for all the people that are affected by these terrorist organizations in this region. Most importantly, guys, keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem. Thank you so much for staying with Boots on the Ground. I'm Yair Pinto, and we'll see you again next time.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.